Your problem is not your problem. When I was building my second building in New York, I went to the bank to collect 5 million, and they said there is no money in your account. Manager, I do financial business with heaven. I pay my tithes. I give my offering. I can't run out of money. Give God 45 minutes to bring money to that account. The manager asked me, are you well? Stupid man, who I should ask you, are you well? I'm telling you, I do business with heaven. I told him, hey, I'm waiting in my car. Give God 45 minutes. 40 minutes, he ran to me and said, Daddy, 10 million had just dropped into that account. Learn how to pay your tithe regularly. God will give you what I call
70 years old man.
The church should not be a one-man thing. And this is where it gets serious, particularly for pastors of Pentecostal churches. There's nothing wrong with the movement, but there's something wrong with the processes that goes on there. Something is wrong. Anybody can run a one-man thing, no accountability, no sense of decorum, nobody knows what is going on, no management team. That is not the church. Let me say this to you. When some people say pastors are thieves, there are pastors who prove it correct. Are there no places that nobody is a signatory to the account but the pastor, and he can withdraw anything he likes at any time? And I tell people, one day so, if auditors on earth will not audit you, Christ, the owner of the church, who paid with his own blood, will stand to audit you. How dare you say you are a pastor and you have the effrontery to put your hands into God's money? Somebody wants to sow a seed to the church, you give your personal account. Something is wrong with your understanding of the church as an organization. And these are practices that has made activities of the church questionable. That's one of the reasons why I have so much respect to the Orthodox system, because it's not a one-man thing. Don't just castigate the Catholics. They have one of the best structures in the world. That's why you barely see a Catholic priest come out and say any nonsense. You don't find. You go for any functions where Anglican priests are there, Catholic priests are there, you will see that they dress for the occasion. They are disciplined, their shoes are polished. It is in Pentecostalism we feel we can do anything. Anybody can say anything now and it passes as a doctrine. What nonsense. And nobody seems to be checking anybody. And these are issues.
Well, our daddy in the Lord, Femi Lazarus, is saying what most of us think it should be. You know, I have always asked this question, right? When men of God come out and said that we need to build this or that, we need to buy this or that, I ask myself one question. Who owns those properties? Who is the owner of all those properties? The deed, all the land documents are named after who? The man of God, his children, or some entity. You know, in Africa right now, especially Nigeria, we have these mega churches that are being run like companies. They have a lot of arms here and there. And you can see how huge those churches are and how rich the owner is. Or maybe because maybe the wife, the family together, the wife and children. You can see how rich they are. Every now and then they will collect and they will invest. They will collect, they will invest. They will collect, they will invest. They are investing with money they collect from people from the pulpit, from the church, from the altar. And some men of God are now running it like a one-man show. Like the man of God said in this video. I think I watched a video by Pastor Enoch Adeboye, where he was complaining in that video that a few years back, some members of his church wanted him to produce a balance sheet on how he was spending all the money that was being given to the church as tithe, as donations, as support and offerings. And that he was really confused because he never thought that he owed or he was accountable to them. And he never thought that it was the job of those members to ask for a balance sheet. And that God in the Bible will never mandate anyone to give a balance sheet on how much money they collect and how they spend. That he thought that tithe and offerings were for the church and the man of God. And the man of God is entitled to use it the way he or she wants. And then he thought that, well, since these members, they want this balance sheet, which was in the Bible and which was like against God, he was going to do it, but he will not hand it over to them. He will put it on the table, and then when the people come, they can get it from the table and they can go through it the way they want. But he wasn't going to hand it over to them because according to him, that wasn't in the Bible. And I was like, wow, these people are really, really canny. These people are mafias. They are thieves. They understand the system and they know how to play it to their own advantage. So, because people want you to be accountable, people want to know how you spend the church money, it now becomes a problem. And this is where the story got really interesting. He said that when these people asked for this balance sheet, he told the secretary not to put all the tithes together, but to separate those ones given by those people who want to know how every church activities was being carried out from the other people who do not care about what Papa Enoch Adeboye was doing with their tithe and offering. And according to him, if you buy somebody one Coke, you have to write it down. If you give 1 naira to a poor mama, you have to write it down. And according to him, this was unfounded and this was unnecessary, and he wasn't okay with all this. But since those members who are heavy titled wanted to know this information, he was going to provide it to them. He did that for a couple of months. And then later on, those people's businesses started collapsing. And the people were very worried. And they were talking about it. And then one other person called him and said, "Hey, Daddy, I heard that these people did something that you did not like, and now their business are collapsing. And according to what is being speculated, they are saying that it is because you were not happy with what they did. That is why their businesses were not working out." And Papa was like, "No, I didn't have anything to do with it. I didn't have anything to do with it. I don't have problem with them," and so on and so forth. Papa Enoch is someone who can always come up with stories that are so difficult to fact check. He's one of those leaders that I would suggest they die down on their stories they tell, because all his stories he tells sometimes are too difficult for us to understand. Let me put it that way. So, according to Papa, those people who wanted him to be accountable all of a sudden start facing a lot of difficulties. So I don't really find the correlation between these two things. Someone asking you to produce a balance sheet of the money you collected from them or the money that is being given to the church, and their business started failing. How is these two things connected? But you know what? Only Papa can tell us. Only Papa can tell us. So that's the thing with these mega churches. And like I have said before, right? And I'll keep on saying again, people who don't want to learn would always fall victims to situations like this. People who don't want to listen to reasons will always become victims. People who are not open to ideas, people who do not want to open their minds and their thoughts and to listen to other people will always find themselves in situations like this. Even though you are trying to tell them about all this, some people will still come out and then insult you or tell you to just mind your own business, which I believe they are right to say that. They have the right to say that. I really do not find anything wrong with that. But my point is, some of these things need to be said out loud. some of these things need to be called out. The only way change will come is when we see things like this going on and then we call them out. Yeah, it's not just about minding your own business. No, it's about being a good citizen, saying things that are not done the right way and then calling them out in the hope that people correct their ways. I tell people that the reason Africa has been what it is or where it is right now is because we, the Africans, for far too long, have seen things not going on the right way, but have just kept quiet. We have not called out things when we found out that things were not going the right way. And that has been the reason why our continent has been this bad. So I'm thankful for social media. I'm thankful for all those people out there who are now seeing what these men of God are doing. And they are like, no, we cannot let this continue. Someone has got to set something. And that person has to be me. And we are all speaking out. So I hope that the change we need comes sooner.